What's the matter?
What are you wearing?
Now she's French.
Greetings, guests. Welcome to the Patriarchy, where we explore cinema classics fueled by predictive Hollywood programming and unpack how our favorite characters in cinema got egg all over their faces. I am your commentator, Dom, and tonight we're unpacking the questionable casting of Katherine Heigl in My Father the Hero. Typically, when we see quote-unquote teens on TV or in movies playing roles that contain mature content, those quote-unquote teens are actually being played by adults. Some examples of this are Euphoria. Alexa Demi is 31 years old, but she's playing an 18-year-old Maddie in the show. Also, her castmate, Sydney Sweeney, is 24 years old, but her character, Cassie, is 18. Grease is another example of this. Olivia Newton-John was 29 years old when filming Grease, but she was playing a 17-year-old Sandy. Also, Stockard Channing was 33 years old when she was playing 18-year-old Rizzo. But occasionally, there's a blip. And in this series titled Questionable Castings, we are going to talk about those occasions when the director and/or casting director decides to cast actual teenagers in roles that contain mature content and adult themes. My Father the Hero is one of those films. Katherine Heigl was 14 years old in 1994 when playing a 14-year-old girl on vacation with her father. In summary, the plot is essentially this young girl, Nicole, played by Katherine Heigl, is trying to capture the attention of an older guy, Ben. I think he's like 18 in the movie. So to do that, she tells everyone on the island that they're vacationing on that she's her father, who is played by French actor 46-year-old Gerard Depardieu, whom she claimed was her lover, hoping that this would make her love interest, Ben, jealous. And it does work. It does make Ben jealous, and she wins the heart of her love interest. And that's all captured by 14-year-old Katherine Heigl kissing Ben, who was played by James Dalton, who was 22 years old at the time. This movie is rated PG, which means parental guidance is suggested and some content may not be suitable for children. And My Father the Hero is supposed to be a lighthearted comedy, completely unserious. And everyone involved in the making of this movie did act in a completely unserious manner when it came to a real-life 14-year-old girl carrying out the plot of this story. Aside from the scandalous adult storyline of a young girl who pretends that her dad is her lover being carried out by an actual 14-year-old teenager, the director also has her wearing some equally scandalous attire during the film. And they thought that this scene of a 14-year-old girl in a thong bathing suit was so great that this clip actually is a part of the marketing trailer for the movie. In a 2016 interview with Howard Stern, Katherine Heigl notes how this particular film and the plot was completely inappropriate and that this movie would never be made today.
Have a surreal moment like where you're watching TV as a kid and your commercial would come on?
No, the one time that happened, it was for the trailer for My Father the Hero, and I had to do this scene where I'm wearing like a thong bathing suit.
Yeah, and how old were you?
14.
Yeah.
And it was...
That's a weird movie, isn't it? Was that the one with Gerard Depardieu?
Yeah.
The plot of that movie, we're jumping ahead because I'm going to get to that. The plot of that movie with
would
Gerard...
never fly today.
You were 14.
Yeah.
And listen to this plot. Gerard Depardieu, which is it's sort of weird that it's him, because there's been all kinds of weird statements from him. But you get cast in a movie where you're a young girl and you kind of dig this young boy. Yeah. And in order to get him, you say to your father, act like you're my lover. Yeah. and you act like you're having sex with me, and this guy will get jealous, and he will love me.
Yeah.
What a plot.
Yeah.
What a movie.
Like,
First
that
of all,
would never fly now.
But 14, you're sexualized, you're put in a thong.
Yeah, that was hard. I mean, I was raised Mormon, so I was a very good girl, and that was really hard for me, and I kept trying to convince the director to just do like a bikini, like a really itty bitty bikini. How about that? And he was like, no, he's a French father. Nothing is going to shock him less than something like this. And it was actually based on a French movie. It was an
course.
American adaptation of a French movie. I think that's the only reason it happened. But
did the boy in the movie get jealous? I don't even remember this.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
It worked.
And he at the time was 22, I think, and I was literally 14. It was like one of my first real kisses. It was.
Isn't that strange?
It's very strange in retrospect. At the time, it was a dream come true. I mean, I was starring in my first movie, and I had this beautiful boy I was working with, and Gerard Depardieu is a big star, and I'm playing his daughter.
Can you imagine, like you just said, that in this day and age, if someone tried to produce that movie,
it would never happen.
They'd be arrested.
Yeah. I watched it recently with my 14-year-old niece, and I was like, this is really inappropriate.
Yeah, like you get embarrassed.
Yeah. Anyway.
So let's back up and talk about why I make these videos. I started this channel to highlight patriarchal and misogynistic themes that occur in some of our favorite fictional films. And I remember getting a comment on a short that I remixed of A Kiss Before Dying. If you haven't seen that video, you can watch it here. That said, it's literally just a movie. And I wasn't going to expel any energy responding to someone who just doesn't get it. But it's not, though. It's not just a movie. Like, these messages that we intake in the media that we watch and consume have a very sly way of shaping our views about life, so much so that I was even questioning posing a critique of this film. I actually enjoyed watching this movie when I was younger. I thought it was a funny story. I had no idea that Katherine Heigl was 14 years old, playing a 14-year-old at the time. I just wasn't interested or thinking about that type of thing. The problem is, as I was thinking about this particular video, I started to question myself, like, is it a big deal? I even took to Reddit wondering if a teenager in this attire was acceptable or not, thinking that I may just be being a bit prudish. But actually, a lot of people think that this is okay. There's this push-pull moral dilemma here. It looks like people in society are like, what's the big deal? But internally, I know that there's something perverse here, especially when a 14-year-old Katherine Heigl voiced herself being uncomfortable wearing this. She also posed an alternative to what she was directed to wear, but was made to wear it anyway, on the big screen for the world to see in perpetuity. Everyone knows that hindsight is 20/20, and although 14-year-old Katherine Heigl was excited to kiss a hot 22-year-old guy and play alongside big Hollywood stars, she was right. This film was inappropriate. What do you think? And if you've made it to the end, please like, share, and subscribe if you found this content interesting. Signing off now, your friend, Dom.